Hello, fabulous. How are you?
Yeah, good morning or good afternoon. Good evening. I'm good, and you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm hunkered down here in Arizona. And
It's morning right there, right? Oh, okay.
yes, it's morning, which makes it the early evening for you. Afternoon, early evening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, even in spite of the 9 hours time difference that's between us, I'm glad that we still found a way to connect.
Yeah, that's a very wonderful thing. And I was glad when you texted me yesterday talking about this, and I'm so honored.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's talk about it. And just quickly, how long have you been in lockdown?
Yeah, over 6 weeks. That's true. And we've been in home, but meanwhile, due to our place, and we have a lot of people in this house and all that, so they actually asked us to stay at home.
Yeah.
So for
Right, because you were
earlier.
already staying home a lot.
Yeah, earlier than the general lockdown.
Yeah. So, and how's it been going? Like, how are you feeling right now? And how's everyone around you feeling right now living this way?
Actually, it's no big deal to us as usual because although despite that so many of us are working before the lockdown, they had to stay home and all that. It's still not big deal because we've been like this for some times now, and it's
Right.
just the way it is.
Right. And this is something that we've been talking about that
Yeah,
actually, when this started, the idea of being socially distanced from somebody was something that you were already kind of familiar with.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Because you live so far away from, a bigger movement of society. You don't get the same kind
Yeah,
of interaction with work and that kind of thing, right?
yeah.
Yeah. And so when you compare this moment then against normal life in Italy, like what do you feel like is, I mean, do you feel like this is going to bring a kind of change? Maybe because people can see what it's like to live this way?
Actually, although it's it takes time, and I actually believe despite what the situation that people are facing right now or that they might have faced before and all that, sometimes the situation doesn't change people.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's something that I think something like prevention. It's something like the you have to teach people, like you have to let people know, be aware of like this situation right now. This is what you should adapt to, and this is how you should start living your life and all that. You know what I mean? Just like when this whole situation started, this whole pandemic issue started, and the government weren't taking it lightly, and they started telling people to stay back home, and then lockdown and every other thing. So right now the people are getting used to it, right? And so it's just the
As
way it
much
is.
as they can, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because they really want to fight the pandemic, and they can't help themselves. So,
Right. We all have to do our
although,
part.
yeah, we have to do our part as well. Although during this lockdown, after it all, and then we all go back to our normal life and all that, I think maybe, maybe there are some people that this lockdown would affect positively,
Yeah.
right?
Who are
And there
you
are
who are
some
you
that,
thinking of when you say that?
yeah, when I say positively, like for example, how other people, like for example, how the how Italians, for let's use Italians
Okay.
as an example, how Italians do see migrants and
Ah, okay.
you know what I'm saying, migrants
Right.
and what was it called, refugees,
Yeah.
so how they see them at the end, probably
Have
they,
more.
they, they, they yeah maybe they would have something will start to grow in them and start to feel more compassion for them, and
Right, right. Well,
yeah,
this is the hope, right? I mean, this is what
yeah,
what thought was so interesting when we spoke about this when everything was really starting in March here in the United States, but of course sooner there. Maybe one of the things that could come out of this is that now that everyone has this sense of being alone, being pulled apart, not being able to work or mix with people, maybe this is the point that the average Italian or anyone in Europe or America can say, okay, I get it. I can really see how what this experience might be for the migrant community who is really separated and pulled apart and who doesn't get to interact and work. I think that is, I think it's a really strong point, and I think it's something that we should continue to talk about too. Because
exactly. And why that? There are also some people that doesn't even really care. This whole thing is going on, even if they have been isolated, even if they are experiencing this whole thing, and just like every other immigrant out there or something like that. So I think they're still not going to be changed. Like,
right, it's not going to happen overnight, right?
It's just what I'm saying.
But it's a good point that we can make, though. I think you're right. Like, just to illustrate it this way is so smart.
Yeah.
Look, Fabulous, let me ask you something else too, like just to cover off on like some more concrete details. Is anyone there sick?
No, not really.
Yeah, not really, or no?
Nobody, nobody.
Okay.
Nobody, not sick person. Yeah, all good. Not sick person.
Everyone's healthy then, and
everyone is healthy.
Good.
But the other day, I was hearing the news somewhere in the north. I guess I've forgotten the name of the city. And they say there's a camp, there's a housing there where migrants are living. About 140 migrants are living in the housing. Or they said they tested about 100 people, 100 migrants positive. I don't know.
Oh, really?
I saw it on the news. I really believe that.
I'll have to look that up. I haven't heard about it. Well, Fabulous. I'm glad to know that everyone there at least is healthy. I know the situation is difficult for you guys. It's difficult for you guys anyway, and it's more difficult now because you truly can't go out and move around. But from this end, of course, I send you my solidarity because we are all dealing with that isolation now. But it's also why I'm so happy that we can connect here, continue to connect in the only way that we can. And lastly, I just want to say to you, I can't wait until we can meet again there in Limatola.
Yeah, same here. We can't really wait as well to meet you, to see you again. Sometimes, and meanwhile, this period right now also teach us to not ever neglect human interaction.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, human interaction is very, very important. And meanwhile, during this period, you can't really see anybody. You can't even, if you look out from your window, you see empty spaces out there. Nobody out there,
Right. It's almost like the world disappeared.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this, not like before where the vibes and the good life, the normal life we believe in before, but now we can see that things have changed. It's not. And I was thinking, do you think that? Sorry to ask anyway.
That's okay.
Do you think that after this whole thing, do you think that life will still go back to the normal way?
I think, how could it? I mean, what's normal now? What's normal now? I mean,
what's no?
I mean, there's been so much that's shifted and changed. So many people have gone and died. And the economy is so different. I feel like this is going to be fabulous, like an actual reckoning, to come to grips with the things that don't serve us. And it's so hard that it had to happen this way. But we don't have I feel like we don't have a choice. It's impossible to go back to how things were when this much change has shifted. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so as well.
And I feel like it's also why I think we need to use this moment for ourselves to keep advocating for what we know is true for you and the rest of the migrant community there.
Yeah.
You know, that
Exactly.
yeah, that you need to be seen more and be and actually have a place in that society, or should you choose to go elsewhere?
I actually, sometimes when we think of things that are bigger than ourselves, like the people that we love or our family, or that support, that love in our lives, and other, most of the time we allow ourselves to soak into the power of gratitude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's a beautiful thing. Yeah. That's a beautiful thing.
It is. Let's hang on to that. Gratitude.
Yeah, gratitude.
Fabulous.
And before, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. Before we allow ourselves to drift into sleep, and we could also always come back here, and sometimes to face the faces of those that we really love, like our loved ones and other, and I believe this whole situation has really taught us a lot of things. There are so many people that have lost their lives during this pandemic, and all that.
Yeah.
I think who can at the time come back to this, to hear again, and to the faces of those that we love, our loved ones, and to that warm, supportive, golden light and all that, and to tap into the power of that same light that is coming. And I believe that light will come as well,
We have to keep the faith.
That is coming, yeah.
We have to keep the faith.
Positive and all that,
Yeah.
So I also believe positive also attract positivity. You know what I'm saying? So whenever we think about positivity, and we think about positively about the people that we love, these things will bring that goodness right back into our lives again.
Yeah, I'm thinking of those people. And let's have that gratitude together then. Fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous. I'm so glad again that we could talk here, and I thank you as always for being so open and making yourself available to talk about your experience. It's so important people hear your voice, and I'm glad that you've allowed them to. Thank you.
Thank you very much as well.
All right, fabulous. Well, we'll talk soon then. Have a good day.
Okay, ciao, ciao.
Okay, ciao, ciao.